Hi, and welcome to the dinner agenda. This is Bo.
And this is
Hi,
Zila.
CeeLo. How are you?
Were you about to take a
I,
sip of your
I
water
was,
and you're
and then
like,
I saw
oh
that
my
you hit
God.
record, and I was like, "Oh shit! I gotta say the intro." There, I'm gonna take a
Do
drink
you
now.
remember I think it was the last episode? I was actually going to pull that out and put that reel up because you had sipped your water, but you were trying to do it fast in between what you were you had like spilled it all down here.
Yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
It's live in the moment. Well, it's not really live, but it's kind of live in the
Well, I mean, it's
moment.
live when we're recording it, and then it's not edited out. So, yeah,
Exactly.
I hear you.
Total.
I hear you. Yeah, yeah.
100%.
So, how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm freezing. I'm
Why?
freezing
Why?
because 'cause I'm old, I think.
Oh,
I just came from, one of Buddy's hockey
okay.
games, and I find that standing in the rink, um I used to be able, like, if I bundled up, put a hat on and whatever, I was fine.
Hmm.
But now I'm like, it doesn't actually matter what I have on. I'm freezing.
Yeah.
It's warmer outside than it was in that rink tonight.
Was it really? You know,
Mhm.
funny that you mentioned that. I was just having this conversation about being cold versus hot with Dave.
Yeah.
And Dave, I think this is hormones as we age too. Like he's getting super hot at night in bed, right? Like throughout the no.
You have so many jokes right now.
But like, he gets really super hot when he's sleeping. And I'm hot when I go to bed, which is why we have, like, the
Yeah,
ceiling fan on, but then in the middle of the night, I'm, like, fucking freezing. I don't know what the shit
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's all over the
I
place. I don't like it. I'll add it to my list of dislikes about getting
Yeah,
older
there we go.
for sure.
Well, I got a contact. I had somebody contact me. Let me try that in English. You're you're supposed to be nice to me. Stop making fun of your friend.
Yeah,
That's terrible. I got a
sorry.
contact, and this
Yeah.
person said about the last episode, that we were doing, and where I asked you that question about, would you tell a friend if you've caught their spouse cheating, right? Or their
Yeah, yeah.
partner cheating. So anyways, she had mentioned to me, she said, "Oh my gosh, do you remember, there used to be a show, on TV, called something like Cheaters Caught in the Act or something like that." And do you remember that? Have you seen it?
No.
Oh my
No, no,
gosh.
no.
It was a reality TV show. I don't know how long ago this was on, probably 10 years ago, maybe.
Oh, wait a second. Was it like private investigators
Yeah,
were hired to, like
yeah, catch the
I think
spouses
I
cheating,
recall.
and they would
Yeah,
actually so they would get hired by one spouse, and then they would follow the other spouse
yeah.
and film everything and try to catch them in the act, and they did, and they got it all on camera, and then they would get the other partner's reaction when they were
That's a
told.
reality show I
Oh,
can get behind,
fuck, it was like
right?
it was good, but I also remember I ended up stopping like, I stopped watching it because it ends up becoming just so repetitive, and it's,
Yeah, yeah.
like, annoying that, sometimes I'm like, "And you had to hire somebody to figure this one out?"
Like it wasn't obvious enough for you?
Yeah. So, but I just thought that was really funny because I do remember watching that one, so that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I listened afterwards to the last pod, I thought of another, circumstance that we should have covered.
What?
Let's say you're, like, equal friends with both people,
Yeah. Oh, shit, and then you catch one of them
right?
cheating,
And
and
you catch
then
one of them eating.
okay.
I think I
CeeLo,
would change my answer.
what would you do?
I don't think I would I don't know.
I know.
I don't think I would say anything. You know what I'm
I
saying?
do. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I This would take a lot of thought. You know what I mean? Equal friends with both, though. Equal friends with both.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think I may talk to the person, not the one who was cheating.
The cheater.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah, the
cheater,
cheater,
to
yeah.
basically say, "Look, you know,
You
I
need to
know.
fess up.
Yeah, well, not that you need to fess up, but I would say, like, I know. I can't keep that to myself forever. You need to stop, like, you need to figure your shit out
Or
or
fess up and figure it out, right? Yeah.
fuck, I don't know. I don't know if maybe
I
maybe
know that's a
it
tough
does
call.
just it is.
Right. It's
Just
like
stop
another
asking me these hard
added
questions. I
I
can't.
know. It's just another added wrinkle.
To my face. Yeah, yes.
No kidding, I would hate to be in that predicament.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
So, one of the
um,
oh, you have something else? Tell me, tell me. Tell me.
no, you go. You, please
Okay, then I will.
go.
I would
Mhm.
like to, air a grievance,
Uh-oh.
on this episode. When you go to a clinic to get blood work and there are
Oh, I thought you
signs.
were
What?
I thought you were gonna pick on my editing skills again. I'm like,
Oh,
"What did
no,
I
no,
screw up?"
no. Everyone in the universe now knows that editing is
I
not
know.
a thing. Um, but no, so there's signs posted everywhere in the lab clinic. If you're not feeling well, don't come in. If
Yeah.
you're coughing, don't come in. Make sure that you have a mask on. We're still following safety protocols, yada yada yada. Yada,
Yeah.
okay. So I go in to get blood work, and the receptionist who is like taking down my name and taking the paper and whatever, like she's like non-stop coughing. And she's putting throat lozenges in her mouth, and then she's still coughing, and she's not wearing a mask. And so I'm going to sit in the waiting room now, waiting for my name to be called, and she's still hacking and coughing. So it's not like she was like choking on a glass of water.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
she clearly had a cough, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, "You're an asshole."
Mm, you're an
Just
asshole,
like,
yeah.
"You're an asshole."
I find
All I
it's
can say.
almost like it's etiquette now to not go into some place if you're unwell.
I know. I know.
I'm always surprised to see that kind of situation happen,
I
but
know.
I'm 100% still wearing a mask into the blood
Are you?
when you go to take blood and when I go to the doctor's
Do
office.
you?
When I had to take Iz to the hospital well after COVID at one point, I'm like, We're wearing masks."
Well, even now, like, even today?
Yes.
Really? Okay, I don't do that.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're very
Because of
safety.
that lady who was coughing and taking throat lozenges and didn't stay home from work that day. Like it you know? Maybe
I
she
got it.
can't, but I can at least protect myself.
Yeah,
I don't wanna get s
got it. Okay.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't know that you were that, diligent still. Interesting.
Yeah, total.
Okay.
If I'm in a place where there's potential for sick people or people who
Mhm,
maybe can't stay away, like if you've gotta go,
mhm,
get blood work done, you gotta go get blood work done
mhm,
whether you're
mhm,
feeling okay or not. So, it's
mhm,
those situations where I'm like, guaranteed there's someone in there with some kind of cold,
mhm.
COVID, whatever. I don't want it.
Got it. Okay, fair enough.
I don't want it.
Alright, fair
Yeah.
enough.
On a happier note,
Yes, tell me.
I am freshly off my shop till you drop road trip with my
Yeah.
2 sisters and my sister-in-law.
Yay! So how did that go? Tell me.
It was so much fun.
That's
It
good,
was
I'm
so
glad.
much fun. We shopped until we dropped, and I we were coming home on Sunday, and
Mhm.
I said, "I have dropped," and my my sister Mare, she's like, "I'm not dropping. I'm not dropping. I'm sure there's more places we can stop at." I'm like, "No, it's done. It's over now. We need to go home now."
That's funny.
So, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun, hit up at least 3 Targets, but this time we went to Rochester instead of to Buffalo. Ask
Oh,
me why.
why?
'Cause there's a Costco in Rochester, and you know I love my
Are
Costcos.
you for real? You actually crossed the
Yep.
border to go to a Costco?
Well, I crossed the border mostly just to go to Target,
Yeah,
but for an
Target.
extra hour and a half to also hit a Costco, these are, like, 2 of my favorite stores, done.
Oh, that's nice. I'm
Yeah,
so
so it was lots of fun.
So, did
Yeah.
you by any chance, remember to take a look for my toothpaste and mouthwash that I really like that you can wash
I
in there?
every time I'm in the
Did
pharmacy
did you?
section of every store, I look for it, but I cannot find it
You can't
anywhere.
say yeah, it's
But
funny.
we didn't
Mhm.
we didn't go to a pharmacy.
No. Okay.
Like, we went Target,
Target.
Walmart, Wegmans,
Yeah,
the usual suspects, but we
yeah,
didn't go to a pharmacy,
yeah.
and, Mel had me looking for some grass-fed protein granola bar or something,
Mhm, mhm.
that I also couldn't find, but I think if I had gone to a pharmacy, so maybe I'll have to go back. Maybe we should go back.
I think we should. I think we should. I think we need a
Yeah.
date.
I wish the dollar was better, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. So maybe we'll wait a little bit, but yeah, it's not doing very well right now for us anyways.
No, the
Yeah.
whole trip, it was looking at the price of something,
Mhm.
looking up the price of it at home, doing the conversion,
Mm.
thinking,
Is it
"Is this
worth it?
still a good deal
Yeah,
considering
yeah,
taxes and all that jazz?" And so it's like the whole trip was doing that kinda math,
yeah.
and we found a few good deals. A few stores had, like, pre-Black Friday sales
Oh,
on and
that's
stuff.
great.
I got some Christmas shopping going
Yeah, yeah. That's good.
and stuff like that, but we were a little bit obsessed with this new app that I downloaded
What's the
called Yuka,
Yeah, I have it.
Yuka.
Yeah, I have it. I know.
And so we were using it to scan, like, food items as well as cosmetic items. Like, every time I was in an aisle with one of them, they were like, "Scan this for me, scan
Yeah.
this for me."
It's such an interesting app, and it's not
Mhm.
100% accurate, so just keep that in mind. Um,
Agreed.
yeah, yeah, but why don't you tell our listeners what this app is?
So it's an independently owned and run, they have, Instagram page if you wanna check it out, app that you scan the barcode on different food or cosmetics, and it gives you a rating out of 100 of how good or clean that food or cosmetic might be.
Mhm,
And agreed, there's a few times where it wasn't quite bang on, but for the most part, I found it worked,
mhm,
really well.
mhm,
I it There's a few surprises where I was scanning things that, I was reading I'm eating it, I'm reading the ingredient label, I'm thinking, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and then it tells me, "Oh, no, wait a second, it's got these little additives in it that maybe you couldn't see on the ingredients list that are not so good for you." So,
mhm, mhm.
yeah,
Well,
it
it's
was
funny
fun.
because
I'm a little bit
obsessed with it, yeah.
yeah, a little bit.
I
Yeah.
found that app, funny because, I suffer from eczema, and
Yeah.
so I was looking for shampoos and creams, like moisturizers and stuff, that were really good for super sensitive skin. And so
Mhm.
that's how I started using that app, because,
Mm.
you can scan the different products and it kinda
Yeah.
tells you, how good it is for your skin or how good it is for you know what I mean? So that it's
Yeah.
a cool little app, and it's very addictive.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yeah, I
yeah.
end you end up scanning we were back in the hotel room that one we had one room with the 4 of us in
Yeah,
it
yeah,
and all of our packages, which
yeah,
we were neatly organizing every night we got home.
yeah,
But, back in the room and they were coming out, "Ooh, do my shampoo, do my deodorant, do my
yeah,
face cream," or
yeah,
whatever, yeah.
yeah.
So we were scanning it all up, but
That's
things
good.
that you think are gonna be so good, and then they turned out not so good.
True. That's true. That's
Mhm.
true. Well, it
Yeah,
sounds like
good
a great
time.
trip. I'm glad that you took it.
Yes, it was lots of fun.
Good. All right, my dear. So
Mhm.
what is
How
on
about
the
you?
agenda for
Oh,
today?
what is on the agenda? So, last week, you sent me yet another link to something on Facebook.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I thought that I forgot about it because it looked like it was an Instagram post. I know you don't have
Yes.
Facebook, and it was an Instagram post, and I thought maybe you could see it because I know you have Instagram. But I sent it to your
Yes.
sister instead. Did she show it to you?
No.
Okay. Do you wanna know what it was?
It was a animal eating, but I could see the
No.
video, but
Yeah.
oh,
No, 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 he was eating. It was a porcupine. But he
yeah.
was a rescued porcupine from a sanctuary that and he was young when they rescued him, and they were saying that he's been super talkative ever since he was rescued. Like, he does nothing but talk to everybody, to the staff. And so he was eating this, I don't know, sweet potato or something, and he was just
Yeah, it looked like
yapping
sweet
away.
potato.
He was like, it was so flippin' cute. I could have just
Mhm.
died. So I sent that to you. Anyways, so you couldn't see it. So I sent it to your sister. So she messages back and she says, that woman was bothering that porcupine a little bit too much, like, all up in his business, and I'm like, "Okay, forget that, just listen to the cute voice."
Yeah, that's too funny.
Yeah, it was cute,
But
it was cute.
I thought I mean, we digressed a little bit, but the
Oh, yeah.
reason I don't have Facebook
Mhm.
is because I got hacked.
Did
I
I
got
know
hacked, and
that?
so I wanna talk about, like,
I don't recall
fraud,
that.
getting hacked,
Yeah, okay.
all that stuff, because I know we both have some good stories on that.
We do, there's a couple of stories for sure. I
Yeah.
don't know if I remember that your Facebook had been hacked, but
Yeah,
interesting,
it had
okay.
been hacked, like, I couldn't log in,
Yeah.
and so I tried to reset my password, and every time I tried to do a password reset, it's like, "Well, we sent you a text." I'm like, "Girl, no, you didn't. I didn't
Mm,
get anything."
yeah,
And it was sending a text to someone else's account, and so I'm like, "This is my account."
yeah.
And then they asked me to send a picture ID.
Mhm,
So, like, my driver's license,
mhm,
which has my picture,
mhm,
my home address,
mhm.
my date of birth, and they want that picture. So I'm like, I block out my address with my finger, I send them a picture of my driver's license, which is my name and my face. "Sorry, you've gotta
Finger?
unblock your" and I'm like, you know what? Facebook is not that important to me for me to send you this information. Forget it. I'm done.
Got it.
Out."
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, well, I've got a very interesting Facebook hacking story for you for later. I'll save that for a moment, but, okay, good
Yeah.
topic. All right.
Yeah. And then I was, thinking about how many times I've received emails from people either through a social media app or
Mhm,
just an email that says, "Hey, I'm in a bit of trouble," and it's someone I know.
mhm,
It'd be like from you,
mhm.
and it would say, "Hey, I'm in a little bit of trouble. Can you email money transfer me some,
That was
$100 or something
really
like that?"
mean.
I'm like,
That was really
"Are you?"
Yeah, yeah.
"You know I got you,
I
girl."
know, I know. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't get over like, a week doesn't go by where you're not either personally getting something or someone in your circle is getting something, and it
It's
blows my
true.
mind.
It's true. Like,
Yeah.
I get them almost on the daily too. I'll get these little texts, just like your package wasn't delivered. Yeah, I need you
Yeah.
to click on
Yeah.
this link, so
All
I
the
get
time.
that. I also get these random, like, if I realize now, that they're trying to see if there's a live person at the end of the number or whatever it is, but,
Yep.
I'll get these texts, like, I got one actually on Saturday that said, "Hey, are you working today?" And I'm looking at this and I'm like, and I didn't recognize the number. And my automatic reaction is, should I respond with, who is this? And then I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, just a second. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm not working on Saturday, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so who the frick wouldn't know? Oh, this is just some random bullshit. So I just reported it as junk and deleted it.
Oh, see, I got one of those last week,
Hmm.
and sometimes you can tell by the phone number or the area code. This
Hmm.
one was 705, and I'm like, "Is this just a wrong
Hmm.
number?" So I didn't respond. I looked at it, but then I didn't respond to it, and then I, left it, and maybe 10 minutes later, the person sent another note saying, "So sorry, wrong number." I'm like,
Oh,
"Okay."
really?
So, like, legit wrong number, but there's so many other ones that I just, like, swipe delete on
Yeah.
right away,
Yeah.
especially anything with a link in it. I'm like,
Well,
"Mm,
that's the key, right? It's like they need to gain access somehow,
yeah,
and there's just so much spyware these days,
yeah,
that they can put this stuff on your phone, on your laptops, and, just it's crazy. It's crazy. I remember so, like, I guess we're getting right into the stories for a second, but I remember
yeah, totally.
one time, Dave on his, he had a tablet. It was I like an Android tablet. I don't remember what it was called. This
Yeah,
was way back, like, years ago, and he must have clicked on something, and some malware must have been put on this little thing because
yeah,
he got this note. He went to go log into it to use it, and he got this note
yeah,
that basically say, "Pay us," and it took over his entire, device, and it was like, "Pay us $450. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to use this device." Like, it was just, and so he
That's
was yeah,
crazy.
so he was freaking out. I was like, "Oh my god." So, of course, we're Googling now, "What the fuck is this?" And it turns out that he must have clicked on something and some malware must have been downloaded, and, and he lost the ability to use it. It was done. It was done.
Wow. I
Yeah,
was gonna say, I was talking to I think my stepdad at some point, and he's like, what link, like, what things can I click and what things shouldn't I click? I'm like, don't fucking click anything.
no,
Don't click through on anything
no,
ever.
no.
And he sends jokes via email still all the time and their little attachments and stuff. And I'm like, don't bother sending these to me. I just delete them because I'm not clicking on something. I don't know if you've been hacked. That happened to my mom a few times where
Yes.
I was getting emails and
Yeah,
she's like, "Oh, there's something on Facebook now. So it's not me, blah blah
yeah,
blah.
yeah.
Don't accept this," and
Y
all this jazz, but
It's
I
funny.
that
I have a
yeah.
story about your mom. I have a story about that with your mom. So, she was on Facebook, and, I got this message in Messenger from your mom that
Yes.
said, "How are you doing?" And so I responded back and I said, I'm doing great. How are you? Da da da. And
Yeah.
so she responds, right? Now we're having a bit of a back and forth conversation. And I thought, this is a bit weird and odd because it's
Yeah.
not like your mom's ever
Yeah.
really reached out to me. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
what the shit? But that's okay. Um, so anyway, so I'm chatting with her, whatever. And then
Mhm.
she made a comment, and I don't remember what the comment was, but I went, I don't think this
That's not
is
Karen's mom.
yeah. So I decided to test it, and so I responded with one of my responses saying, "I'm so glad that you reached out. I've been meaning to ask you, how is, so and so's pregnancy going?" Like, I just put a random name.
Random.
And then there was just dead silence, there was no response after that, and I thought, "Oh, you
Uh,
little fucker." So I messaged you, you may have
yeah.
forgotten this, but I messaged you to let
Yeah.
you know that that had happened, and you probably reached out to your mom, but, yeah.
I think that happened to her a couple of times. It's happened I think every senior in my life has been hacked in one way, shape, or form,
Yeah,
where I've gotten some email or whatever.
yeah.
And I'm always kind of curious about, the weird random phone calls
Yes,
you get,
yes,
and then when you say hello, I'm like, "Are they recording my voice so that they
yes,
can get voice recognition on
yes,
my bank account?" Like,
they are.
and they can. They
Yes.
totally can.
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's nothing safe anymore, CeeLo. Like, there's really
Yeah,
nothing safe anymore. It's like you have to like, the only links that you can really click on are things that are coming from very trusted people or sources, and even
yeah,
then, like, even then but it's like you just honestly, you just don't know. You just don't know,
yeah,
you know?
100%.
So
I
mhm,
did a little bit of, research before we started chatting,
mhm.
and it says that seniors are often
Yeah.
targeted by cyber criminals because they may be more trusting and less familiar with tech and
Mhm.
less savvy about online security.
Mhm.
So there's like phishing emails which appear to be from a legit source, but they're designed to try and get you to reveal some personal information
Mhm.
so that then they can get into something else.
Mhm.
Social media, befriending someone, trusting and telling them stories and getting them to try and give you money
Mhm.
yeah, that would be what the
Yep.
cyber criminal is doing.
Yep.
And then the third one I was reading about is the phantom hacker, which sounds like what happened to Dave
Yeah.
because it's a pop-up link via text or email attachments, something like that, where you end up downloading the software and then
Mhm.
they gain control of your device, your
Yeah.
computer, your tablet, whatever,
Yeah.
and you're kinda screwed after
Yeah,
that.
yeah, completely. It's such a manipulative, thing that these
Manipulative. It's a
yeah,
manipulative.
it's a manipulated. No, it's like the manipulative, um, thing that these fraudsters do, eh? Like
Yeah,
um, really kinda hone in on very specific personality, like, traits or maybe not personality traits, but, um, uh, uh, like things that people respond to, right? Like
yeah.
urgency, scarcity, right?
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
"Oh, if you don't do this right now, you're gonna miss
Something's
out
gonna
on
happen.
X, or you're going
Yeah.
to be, and then it gets people thinking, oh shit, I've got the FOMO. I got to do this now. I've got to, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When they impersonate authority, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
those phone calls that you get from, this is the Canadian Revenue Agency or the CRA. You know what I mean? When they say
Yeah.
those kinds of
Or
things.
or the urgency around, "Oh, your package, like, I've got your package
Yeah.
and we can't deliver it." And
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh my gosh, I need my package."
Yeah.
Because who doesn't have something being delivered at
Yeah.
some point this week? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Thank you,
Exactly.
Amazon.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true, it's true. Um,
Mhm.
they do also like the emotional connection because, we've been talking about, fraud, like from getting targeted, for people to gain, something monetary typically, right? But there's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
there's also the emotional, like the human kind of, where
Oh, yeah.
they exploit emotional connections, right? So like humans can get lonely, they have a desire for companionship, and so they get targeted by people that are, kind of after them based on the fact that they can manipulate them,
Yeah.
because of their loneliness. So like even just thinking about, like, I don't know if you watch it, but 90 Day Fiance, like, do you watch that show, or have you watched that show?
I'm familiar with it, but I wouldn't say I watch it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, in that show, it's funny. I think there's a few occasions where sometimes you say, like, I had been watching it for a little while, then I ended up getting a
Yeah,
little bit, bored with it, so I stopped. But um there are times when I'm kind of like, I think that this is like a legit relationship. But then there are times
right.
where I'm clearly seeing that there's this is somebody's using that person to get into the country, you know 100%, or using them for money. One guy was, the girl that he was dating online, kept asking for money, and he was sending all of this money, and then he ended up flying. They were going to meet in Cuba together or something like that. He ended up flying to Cuba, and of course she didn't show up, right? So now he's, on this all-inclusive
Yeah.
resort by himself. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what happens.
Mm, yeah.
So
Oh, no, an all-inclusive resort by myself. Hmm,
sounds really good, eh? I
that
know.
could be
I know.
good.
Okay. So
Um,
I have an interesting piece of trivia for you.
okay, hit me.
Okay. The first cases of fraud that have ever been recorded, in a sense, or noted, right, date back to the 3rd century BC. And it was actually
Mhm.
insurance fraud. Yeah. Crazy, eh? So, yeah. In
Ah,
300 BC, there were two Greek sea merchants, and they actually devised a plan, to kind of enrich themselves. And what they were going to do is, they took out an insurance policy on their ship and cargo. Okay, so what they did was, according to the agreement, they were required to repay the loaned money with interest after they sold the merchandise that was on the ship. And then if
yeah.
they failed to repay that loan, the lender would then gain possession of the ship and its cargo, right? Similar to how
Mhm,
insurance companies work today, right?
mhm.
In a sense where it's like, here's the loan, you pay it. If you don't pay it, we repossess your whatever the heck you
Whatever.
yeah, okay, your collateral. So they do this loan, and then after leaving the dock, both of the men decided that what they were going to do was sink the ship so that they could pocket all of the loan money and then just take off. But they were actually caught in the act of trying to sink that ship. And so one ended up losing his life while he was attempting to escape, and the other one actually, faced the wrath of the Athenian court. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
You
Mhm,
gotta watch out for those Greeks. I'm
mhm,
telling you,
mhm,
they're
mhm.
trouble.
Absolutely. And then
Mm,
500 years later in Rome, in 193 AD, 193 AD, there were a special group of soldiers that were known as the Praetorian Guard, and
yes?
they hatched a plan to actually sell the empire. So I think they assassinated Pertinax. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, but like he was the Roman emperor at that time. So they hatched this plan to sell the empire to the highest bidder for like £1 billion in an auction. Okay.
Okay.
And so the soldiers actually succeeded. Somebody actually bought the actual, Roman Empire. And so they sold it apparently to this person, but it wasn't theirs to sell. right? So the person who bought it, I think his name was Julianus, he was never recognized as the emperor, and he was deposed because he was not you know, a direct descendant or, whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
So he couldn't. So yeah, so he ended up, losing all of his money. And then a civil war ended up breaking out at that time. And it was known as the Year of Five Emperors. And that was how that all kind of came about. But that was all based on fraud.
That is
I
crazy.
know.
And now,
Hmm.
so many years later,
Yep.
it looks like the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center says that the number of reports of people being ripped off this year trying
Mhm.
to sell Taylor Swift tickets has climbed to
Oh,
190.
geez. Can you believe that? Can you, like, that's crazy. I really feel bad for those folks because I know that, especially the teenagers that were, going with their family or their parents or whatever,
Oh
or on their
god,
own,
yeah,
how excited they were to find out that that was,
I know. They got ripped. And they're out of, tickets,
yeah,
resale tickets were
yeah,
going for
yeah,
redonkulous amounts of money.
yeah. Some
So
woman,
the fact that somebody forked over all that money
yeah,
and then
yeah.
didn't get to go, I'm just like,
There was actually something on the news about that the other day. Some woman paid $1,800 for tickets to that Taylor Swift concert from someone online. Yeah, and then she ended up losing, obviously, because they weren't legit tickets. But that was like $1,800. That's like flipping crazy, isn't it?
I yes, 1,000% yes.
Mhm.
There's no one that I would pay that kind of money to go and
No,
see.
me
I'm
neither.
sure it's a spectacular concert, I'm sure,
Yeah,
but
but not
I
for
just I
$1,800.
feel like right? There's so many other things. You know how much shit I could buy at Target for that
I know.
money?
I know. It's true. It's true.
But I honestly thought that the number of people ripped off would have been higher. Like 190 people is still crazy,
I know.
but I thought it would have been higher
I know.
just based on everything you're hearing and how people are getting ripped off.
It's true.
Um, when Billie Eilish was here
Mhm.
in town for a concert, I think Mel went online and bought 2 tickets for to go with a friend,
Mhm.
but then she went back online and found better seats, like whatever
Mhm.
had been released, and she bought 2 more tickets.
Mhm.
And, Billie Eilish as the performer and entertainer had
Mhm.
put no transferring tickets on
Mhm.
her tickets.
Right.
So normally if I buy a ticket, I can transfer you one, you and I both scan our phones and we're off to the you could not transfer.
Okay. Okay.
So, it created I mean, I like the fact that she was trying to stave off kind of scalpers who would charge $18,000 for a ticket
Mhm.
and those kind of rip-off scams, but at the same time then, we legit had 4 tickets. We wanted to sell 2 tickets. Had another set of friends that wanted to go, so
Mhm.
they bought the tickets, but I had to go down there and scan their tickets from my phone to let them into the venue, and then
Wow.
I could go home.
Wow.
So it was kind of, stupid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me, but
Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I have a doozy of a story for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah. Okay. So this actually happened to my cousin not too long ago. So
Okay.
she has Facebook and Instagram, and
Yeah.
also a business Facebook and Instagram page. So there's like four altogether.
Okay.
Let's just say. Okay.
Okay.
So she's going about her life, doing whatever she's doing, and she for part of her business, she ends up and I hope I get all the facts right. There might be a couple little things that I might get wrong, but she'll correct me, I'm sure. And then we can fact check it after. But so she was contacted by this marketing person that basically said, "Hey, we can help you get better sales." Right? And the funny thing is, CeeLo, when you and I started this podcast, we were getting similar messages on Facebook and Instagram as well, saying,
Yeah.
"Let us help
Yeah.
you," that kind of stuff. So, which we ignored, obviously. But anyways, so my cousin, gets contacted by this person who's basically like, "Here's how I can help your sales. We've got, I'm from this marketing firm, and we do blah blah blah, and we help blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Right. So she actually does a little research. She looks into it, and it's a legit company. Like it's a legit company, right? So she was like,
Okay.
"Okay, this is good." So she's talking to the person. She's not really doing
Yeah.
anything, other than chit-chatting and this and that and whatever, whatever. And, she doesn't really take him up on his offer, to help because, like, obviously she'd have to pay him, right? But at
Yeah.
one point in time, I guess through the conversation, what she may not have realized was that this person, right? And she realized this obviously afterwards. He was asking her questions, building a relationship with her, building a bit of a trust with her, right? And
Yeah.
ended up, asking her questions that I think he was able to pull out some key information that helped him hack her Facebook. So, she logs in one
Got it.
day, okay, she logs in one day, she tries to log in one day, she can't, okay, she can't access her Facebook, not her personal nor her business, like nothing, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
anyways, she reaches out, I can't remember exactly how it happened, but this guy she ended up telling this guy what had happened, or he had reached out or whatever. Anyways, and he said, "I can help you. I can help you get this back." He said, "I have dealt with this, many times. Just pass like transfer me $100, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going."
This is the same like, this is the
Same guy.
marketing guy who
Yeah,
she's got the relationship with,
yeah.
and now okay,
Okay,
so
so
now he's
pass
saying, "If you give me 100, I'll fix it for you."
right, so because apparently he's done this before.
Suspect.
Right, okay, but the thing is at this point, right, at this point in time, she's panicked because she's just
Yeah,
realizing that she's been hacked, she's got business stuff going on and things happening for that business, like, every day, so she's gotta get on there. So she's in an absolute panic state, and this guy who she's got this rapport with now, right, is
yeah,
saying, "I
yeah.
can help you, I've dealt." So of course, I get why that happened. So she throws him the $100, he pretends that he's helping her or whatever, and then it slowly starts to evolve into her realizing, "Oh, shit, it's him. It's him who's done it," because now he's asking for more and more money, now he's threatening her, he's basically saying, "I'm gonna ruin your reputation," like, he's actually coming out with these things, "I'm gonna ruin your reputation, I'm gonna contact all your friends and family, I'm gonna ruin you," that kinda stuff. Anyways, funny.
And at that point, was he asking for more
More
money?
money. He says, "I want more money, and then I'll unlock your accounts for you." Right? Like, that's what
So
he was, yeah,
oh my
okay.
god.
So, what he ends up doing is he goes through her contact lists, and he goes through all of her messengers, like messages from Messenger, Facebook
Mhm,
Messenger,
mhm.
and he starts gathering information on the people that she knows. Okay? So, he's looking at people that she's having frequent conversations with. So, he gets my information. He gets her mom's information. He
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
gets some coworkers information for, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy,
yeah.
and he starts contacting all of us. So he actually called her mother and pretended, that he, like, she answered the phone, and he was like, "Oh, hi, Nona," or whatever, and so it was like,
Yeah.
just like talking anyways, and he contacted me as well. He sent me some texts and some messages on Facebook Messenger, so he got my phone number obviously from, her contact list somehow, and he was basically saying, "I wanna help her get her accounts back, and, help me help her. All she needs to do is pay me this money," right? So, I wouldn't
Yeah.
even bother responding, but he kept at it. He actually called me as well. Yeah, it was crazy. This guy
Go
was just
forward.
insane. And ever since then, CeeLo, ever since then, so I've got a funny story about, like, funny twist to how this all ended. But ever
Yeah,
since
yeah,
then, even to this day, he still tries to contact me anyways. I should ask her if he does it to her too. But
yeah,
I got a message from him not too long ago, a few weeks actually, and I know it's him because he's like, "Hi, Bo, how are ya?" And that's how, like, YA, "How are ya?" And that's how he does it all the time, so that's how I know it's him. But so he still contacts me, and ever since then, I constantly get friend requests from these random people that are all
yes.
men who happen to be handsome, single, and widowed in some way, shape, or form. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
Can't you block the original
I do, I block
bad
it
guy?
every time. I block it every single time, and he does it from a new
But
number.
can't you isn't there a way to block it so he can never reach out? Or is he just
It's the
creating new
number.
profiles and
He's
stuff?
No, no, no. So what he's doing is he's changing his number. or
Oh,
using
I
different
see.
numbers and then contacting that way. So I report
Yeah,
it and
yeah,
block it each and every time, and I don't respond to any of it. But here's the funny
yeah,
twist of fate on this one. So this all happens. She's absolutely devastated, of course, right? She now realized she's been scammed. So she's just like, fuck you to this guy, and that's it, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
anyways, this fucking idiot ends up locking himself out of her account by accident. So he goes to
Oh,
reset the password, and she gets the email on her email
yeah,
that says,
yeah.
"Here's the temporary code to reset your Facebook." So she's like, "Oh my god." So she goes on and she resets her password and puts it to some insanely hard, password that just,
Yeah.
like you'd never be able to fucking figure out. So she does it and she gets all of her accounts back. She gets them
Oh
all
my god,
back.
she's so
Wait,
lucky though.
then he contacts her and he says to her, "You should have an email with a code. I need you to send that to me." She's like, "Go fuck yourself." Yeah, but
Yeah, no kidding.
so she ended up getting it back. She got it back. So which was a great.
She's lucky. I think
Mhm.
most people I mean, obviously, this was an unskilled cyber criminal.
Skilled or unskilled, I'm not sure. I mean, I think maybe he was just juggling too much, CeeLo, like
Maybe.
juggling too many
She's
hacks.
either way, she's very
I know.
lucky to get it back.
I know.
But, it's like the more stories you hear like that and the more times you get education around don't click the links and all of
Yeah.
that, and you're like, "Okay, cool. I'm ignoring the phone numbers I don't recognize. I'm not clicking any links." I've got two-factor authentication, right? That's really important too. So yeah, you have to get the text message or the email with the
Mhm.
code. It's a pain in the ass, but it does give you a little bit more security.
It does.
But times are a changing,
Yeah.
right? Because AI is changing everything again on us. And so, um, do you remember the Princess Kate Middleton photos
Yes.
that were doctored
Yes.
to make look like,
Yeah.
she was totally healthy and fine and with her kids and having a lovely, I don't know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever it was.
Mhm.
And so then people just started to pick apart that photo and say, "Wait a second, this doesn't make any sense." And they were all about that. And then, um, oh man, I just lost my train of thought.
So Kate
The
Middleton,
train has
so you're
left.
talking about
No.
doctoring photos,
The
AI.
picture and then finally
Yeah.
she came forward and said, "Oh, it was just me." And I'm like,
No, it wasn't.
I don't think you were playing around with Photoshop in the castle." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it was
That makes no
her
sense.
people that were trying to put out
For
a
people.
yeah, you know
Don't worry, she's fine.
yeah,
But
a
it
narrative.
then it sparked all of these, conspiracy theories
Yeah,
around what's going on with her, and
yeah.
it made her whole situation worse, to be honest with
I
you.
agree with
But
you.
so many people, I'm sure, were happy, "Oh my gosh, look, there's a picture of her, she's fine, she's with the kids, everything is just dandy."
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
it was
dun,
fake.
dun, dun, I
It was
know.
fake, and then I saw an article, so
Mhm.
it just goes on, right?
Mhm.
There's a New Jersey teenager, 15 years old,
Mhm.
and, he is being sued by one of his classmates
Why?
for allegedly creating and sharing fake AI nudes of one of the girls in his class. 15
Oh
years old.
my god.
So he had a picture of 4 girls
Oh,
together,
that little fucker.
and he used
Mm,
AI to make one of them naked and then sent it around. So, like, don't click the link, don't send people pictures of your nakedness. It doesn't matter because
I know.
somebody's gonna be able to create it now with AI or Photoshop or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, times are and so it's just a matter of time before I mean, there's AI video now, right? Have you seen some of that spot the deep fake stuff?
Spot the deep no. D I don't think
Yeah,
so.
spot the deep fake. So they have videos out there now. The one that I happened to look at today was Spot the Fake, and it was 2 videos of Justin Trudeau
Okay.
saying a speech. One of them was real and one of them was fake.
Okay.
And you can't tell the difference.
Really?
You can't tell the difference. It's really hard to
God.
spot the one that's
Oh my
fake.
god. Mm.
I've seen a couple of videos on Instagram
Mhm.
where it is, like post a hockey game, sometimes they have like a press conference and the players are talking, and normally they're saying, "Oh, we could have worked harder," or "I'm glad we worked so hard and yay we won," or it's pretty standard stuff.
Mhm.
But then I've seen videos where it's, like, set up all the same and the player's there, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what? Bo really sucked tonight. She didn't put in any effort," and just blah, 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 and saying, like, horrible things about the coach or a teammate or whatever, and
Mhm.
I'm like, "Obviously, it's fake because you know that their PR agents aren't letting them step out there and say shit like that,
Yeah, yeah.
but it looks 100% real, and it's almost like it takes you a minute, it takes you off
Yeah.
guard because it's so real,
Yeah.
and then you realize you have to, like, use your brain to kinda sift through the information in some cases and say,
Wow.
"Wait a minute, I need something else to validate if this is even real." So it's not just an email to read and then decipher, now it's pictures and these deep fake videos that are coming out that is
Yeah.
like
And it's only gonna get worse, right? It's only gonna get worse. I
yeah,
saw this and I cannot for the life of me remember this guy's name. He's a scientist. I'll try to find it. But he is a scientist who posts YouTube videos and talks about just sciency things. And one of the clips that he had posted was about AI, and he was basically saying, once AI establishes a foothold here, like in the world,
yeah,
um, it's gonna be chaos in the future, like absolute
yeah,
chaos. It's gonna end up taking over, and, reality is going to be a very hard thing to determine at that point. So,
yeah,
that's scary.
100%. There's,
Mhm.
deep fake porn.
What?
Yeah,
What's deepfake porn?
it's AI created porn.
Like, for
So
people that
someone is
oh
out
my
there saying,
god.
"I wanna see Jennifer Aniston and Beau have sexy time together,"
Yeah, me too. Maybe
and a
I would
I
do
don't
that on
wanna even
OnlyFans, though, if I was gonna do that. I gotta make some money on this one. What are
and,
you
like,
fucking kidding?
AI is making the video.
Yeah.
And so some countries are now like, I think I had jotted down here, um, that South Korea is set to criminalize possessing or watching deep fake
Oh
porn,
my god.
replicating celebrities or public figures doing the nasty.
Okay.
And I think I saw something, in Europe as well where they're saying you can be criminally charged for distributing deep fake porn.
Yeah. I think you
And
should.
so
I think you should.
I feel like the government in all of this
Mhm.
AI sitch, like, the government is too far behind the times.
They are.
Like, they should be out ahead of like, we all knew this was coming, for goodness sakes. Like, why aren't they way out ahead of this to stop
CeeLo, it goes
Mhm,
back to when we were in high school. When
mm,
remember when I said we used to say, "Is it them or is it us?" And I seriously think that there are just some really stupid people out there, and that we can't be the only ones, like, I don't know. I don't know. We can't be the only ones kind
uh-huh,
of recognizing this, but
yeah,
I don't know. Okay,
yeah,
let me ask you a question.
okay.
What countries do you think are the top countries for fraudulent behavior?
Um,
You
I would say I don't
you don't
know.
know? Okay.
I don't know. I feel like this is a trick question,
No,
though.
no, no. There's actually 10 top countries that are well known now for perpetrating the most fraud. Whether it be internally within their countries or reaching out externally as well to other countries. So India is one. So if you think
Yeah?
about, those phone calls that sometimes you get, for us in Canada here, the Canada Revenue Agency, or the CRA,
Mm,
especially during tax season, and I'm sure that
season, yeah.
the states gets this too. But they would these people would call you with really strong Indian accents. And they would basically say things like, if you don't call us back or press one or whatever, within the next 10 minutes, you know, you're going to get arrested. Like those kinds of things, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
So
That urgency
yeah,
again, right?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So India's one. I think everybody's familiar with Nigeria as being another
Yeah, yeah.
place.
I
Okay.
was gonna guess that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I was a little surprised to see that Brazil was on that list. Wasn't aware
Mm,
of that, but they
okay.
apparently Brazil has a lot of credit card fraud. They do a lot of credit card fraud.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. Pakistan, South
Yeah.
Africa, Morocco, Romania,
Huh.
Venezuela, which I was surprised about too, but okay. China and the Philippines. So,
Wow.
interesting, eh?
Those are your top 10.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's totally interesting. I feel like those numbers could change or those countries could change at any time with
Sure.
the proliferation now of
Yeah,
AI
yeah.
and how fast things are changing.
Well, let me tell you, CeeLo, because, I know we're talking a lot about AI, we're talking a lot about, online fraud, that kinda stuff,
Yeah.
but and yes, online fraud, it's part of the bulk of everything now because we are, online for most of everything now at this point. But I don't know if you remember, I used to have that beautiful convertible Mustang.
Yes.
So, at one point, I was selling that Mustang, and I went onto a
Yeah,
popular site that is well known for selling cars, right? Buying and selling
yeah,
cars, and I had listed that car there. I ended up getting contacted by some guy who said that he was, on an oil rig at the moment, but he wanted to purchase this car, for his father who had, I think, just beat cancer or something along those lines. And so he said, "I'm willing to buy the car
sounds sketchy.
without testing it. I'm that interested in it. I can have a person come and pick it up
Yeah,
tomorrow, and I will send you the money through PayPal. Like I can do this right away." And I'm just
yeah,
like, this just doesn't sound right, like, I'd never sold a car before, so I didn't know what the shit. So, I was just like, what anyways, I start Googling oil rig, car sales scams, where and then all this stuff starts to come up. Yeah,
oh, that's
so
smart.
yeah, because it's the PayPal, right? They wanna put this money on PayPal, and then they come and they pick up the car, and then they drive off with
Yeah,
it, and the money doesn't get transferred over. So, yeah, good thing I saw that. But I mean, it happens with, like, see what it makes me just sick to my stomach to think about
yeah,
how much it's out there, how they I mean, for you and I, we are a little bit more aware, but I'm sure that we can still get caught, but think about the older generation. I worry
yeah,
about my mom because I know she's been caught once, giving
yeah,
out personal information, and then she ended
yeah,
up catching it just at the point where they were saying, "Give us your account numbers." But at that point, she had already given her full name, her birth date, and her social insurance number, right? So, yeah,
yeah.
so we ended up having to go to Equifax and, get a bunch of reports and blah, 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 but
Oh, shit.
I know,
Yeah.
like, it's
Is
crazy.
Is asked me the other day, she's like, "What's a SIN?" And I'm like,
Oh,
"What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, your SIN number." I said, "Who's asking for it? What do you need that for?"
yeah,
And she's like, "I need it for my work application." I'm like, "Okay, that makes sense then.
yeah,
I'll give it to you."
yeah, yeah.
Um, as you were talking, I was like, "I gotta Google that. Like, what does it cost us here in Canada?"
Mhm,
So, what I
mhm.
saw, thanks to, Google here, is in 2022, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre received fraud and crime reports totaling a staggering 530 million
Wow,
in victim losses.
wow.
The shocker is nearly a 40% increase from the unprecedented 380 million in 2021. So that's like a couple of years old data. So I can only imagine what it's at now,
Yeah, yeah. Holy crap.
right?
Well, you know what? I don't know,
Um,
just let's bury ourselves in the sand and just never go out, and we should be fine. Yeah.
yeah, maybe that's a good approach.
Mm.
Just bury ourselves. Don't click anything. And don't believe the pictures of Kate Middleton.
No. That's nor the fake porn of Beau having sex with Jennifer Aniston, because
Jennifer
that is not
Aniston.
real.
Yeah. I don't know why I picked her as my celebrity for
I
that
don't know, but you
scenario.
know what? If
Just the first one came to mind.
no, if I had to do a female celebrity, if I absolutely had
Yeah.
to, it would
Okay.
hands down be Kate Winslet. I love her so much. I think she
Oh,
is the most beautiful woman. I think she's the most talented woman. I love her acting. I love her movies. I want her to like move in with us and be like my best friend forever. I love her. Except I love you too, but I'm just saying, and
oh. I wasn't totally taking offense to that or anything.
it's Kate
You're gonna
Winslet.
just
Come
start
on, come on, come on.
you're just gonna start calling me Kate instead of CeeLo. I'll be like, "Ah, Bo's got a crush on Kate."
Yeah, I love her. It's like I wanna be her, you know? I really
Yeah.
just wanna
I feel
be
like
her.
sometimes there's celebrities out there where you feel like that little connection with, even though you don't even know them,
No,
never met them,
I
but you
know.
feel some kind of connection that
Yeah.
you're like, "You would be really fun to go for dinner with or, like,
Yeah,
hang out with,"
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah, total.
I just wanna be her. I do.
I got you, no problem. Next time I meet her, I'll let her know.
Yeah, thanks. Let's do it. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave you with a
Okay, leave me with a funny
funny fraud thing. Okay, so
funny fraud?
yeah, funny fraud.
Okay.
There was a guy in the 1920s, his name was Victor Lustig. He actually was able to sell the Eiffel Tower twice. Twice! So he posed as a government official. He convinced scrap metal dealers that the tower was being sold for scrap due to maintenance costs. He created fake documents, he held secret meetings, all that other stuff. After receiving a bid, he took the money and he took off and wasn't caught. And then he flippin' repeated the scam years later and did it all over again.
That's a good one.
Right?
That's like classic con man fraud. I
Right?
love it.
Twice. And then you know what? Actually, I lie. Okay, so let me do one more Ponzi. I mean, we have to talk about the Ponzi schemes, right? Because
Oh, yeah, Ponzi's.
yeah. So do you know anything about that? Or like do you know how it started?
Like, just in general, what a
In
Ponzi
general.
scheme is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
yeah,
no, no, just like how
absolutely.
it
I've seen a
started.
few
Like
good.
who created it?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Okay. So
Mr. Ponzi? Fonzie. Fonzie?
Fonzie the Ponzi.
Fonzie Ponzi.
Charles Ponzi is the one who created it.
Charlie.
Yeah, in the
Okay.
1920s. And so he was an Italian immigrant or Italian migrant to the US in the early
Gotta watch
1900s.
out for those Italians
Yeah,
too, I'm telling you.
gotta say. And so he ended up getting a bank job, and then that allowed him to actually carry out illegal activities like check fraud. So he started with check fraud. He got caught and he was put in
Yeah.
jail. But while he was in jail, that's where he came up with the idea of that, what we call the famous Ponzi scheme, where he promised to make
Oh,
investors really rich quickly. All he had to do was pay the old investors with the new investors' money. So, get new money in from
sure.
new investors, pay the old ones. The old ones think, "Oh, this is great. It's, yeah,
Yeah,
I am making
yeah.
money like you said." But eventually that ends up running out. But his plan kind of paid off for him and he was living a very lavish lifestyle until
Yeah,
this
no
was
doubt.
yeah, until this was all discovered. And then he was deported back to Italy and he lost everything. But that yeah, but the thing is this Ponzi, scheme thing, it's still prevalent now. So I mean, this guy,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
There's been a few really good movies or documentaries even about Ponzi schemes, and I'm
Yes.
like, I'm all in on that stuff for sure.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
More so than our
Was
housewives.
The
Sorry.
Wolf of Wall Street about that, or am I wrong? I'm probably wrong.
I don't remember.
Okay. I'll have to
Why don't you next time you see Kate, get her to ask Leo, and then we'll get that all sorted out.
I'll do
No?
so. I will do that.
Mm, okay.
Great topic, CeeLo, very interesting.
Yeah,
Don't
good to chat with
click
you.
any links. That's what
Don't
the
click the
name
link.
of our episode should be. Don't click
Don't click
the
the links.
link.
I don't know, I really like what the fraud.
Yeah, I do. I like What the Fraud too.
Yeah.
All right, CeeLo. Talk to you soon.
You got it. Talk to you later. Thanks for taking a seat at the table today. We love our dinner guests.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow The Dinner Agenda on the podcast platform you use so that you don't miss any new episodes. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Dinner Agenda.
We look forward to hearing your comments, questions, and even ideas you may have on future episodes.
Thanks for taking this journey with us.